What if I told you that some ancient civilizations weren't primitive at all? What if they were so advanced that even today, with all our technology, we struggle to explain how they did what they did? Across the world, archaeologists have unearthed technologies that seem thousands of years ahead of their time, and in some cases, we still can't fully replicate them. These aren't just curiosities. They're anomalies that challenge our entire understanding of human history. Today, we're diving deep into 5 lost civilizations whose technological achievements simply shouldn't have existed. Let's start our journey with the Sumerians, often called the world's first engineers. About 6,000 years ago, this civilization appeared almost out of nowhere in Mesopotamia, which is modern-day Iraq. What's mind-boggling is that they didn't go through a slow, gradual development. They arrived on the scene already possessing advanced mathematics, sophisticated astronomy, and incredible engineering skills. Think about the way we measure time in angles: 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes in an hour, 360 degrees in a circle. That's the Sumerian basic number system, a legacy we live with every single day. They didn't just invent it, they mastered it. Their astronomical knowledge was equally stunning. They created detailed star charts, mapping the constellations and tracking the movements of planets with shocking accuracy, all without telescopes. They built massive cities like Uruk and Ur, complete with monumental ziggurats, and engineered complex irrigation systems with canals and dikes that turned the arid desert into a fertile breadbasket. And they did all this without the modern tools we take for granted. The real mystery here is the lack of a learning curve. In the archaeological record, we see very little evidence of trial and error. It's as if their vast knowledge of science and engineering just appeared, fully formed. How did they leap so far ahead, so quickly? Next, we travel to the Indus Valley, home to a civilization that mastered urban planning and precision over 4,000 years ago. The cities of Mohenjo-Daro and Harappa are archaeological marvels. They weren't chaotic jumbles of buildings. They were meticulously planned metropolises, built on perfect grid layouts. This level of organization is something modern city planners strive for. But their most astonishing achievement was their sanitation system. These ancient cities featured advanced drainage and sewage systems that were unparalleled in the ancient world. Each house had its own bathroom and a connection to a covered, citywide sewer network. Think about that for a moment. Many cities in the world today still struggle with proper sanitation, yet the Indus Valley civilization had it figured out for millennia ago, without electricity, steel pipes, or modern surveying equipment. Another incredible feat was their standardization. Bricks used in construction across a vast region, spanning hundreds of miles, were all made to a uniform size and weight. This implies a centralized authority and a level of industrial organization that seems almost impossible for the era. And then, after centuries of prosperity, the civilization just vanished. There's no evidence of a major war, no mass graves pointing to a plague, no signs of a catastrophic invasion. The cities were simply abandoned, and the people, along with their incredible knowledge of urban engineering, disappeared from history. Now, let's turn to a civilization everyone knows, but whose secrets we've barely scratched the surface of. The ancient Egyptians. We've all seen pictures of the Great Pyramid of Giza, but the sheer scale and precision of its construction are hard to comprehend. Some of the granite and limestone blocks used to build it weigh over 80 tons. That's heavier than a modern battle tank. These colossal stones were quarried, transported over long distances, and then lifted and placed with an accuracy that is simply breathtaking. The joints between the blocks are so tight that you can't even slide a razor blade between them. How did they achieve this level of stonework? We know they didn't have iron tools, cranes, or lasers. The standard explanation involves copper chisels and brute force. But many engineers and stonemasons argue that's not enough to explain the precision cuts and polished surfaces, especially on hard stones, like granite. The Egyptians left behind detailed hieroglyphs, documenting their history, their religion, and their daily lives. Yet, there is not a single scroll or carving that explains the exact methods they used to build the pyramids. It's a glaring omission. Today, engineers debate whether we could even recreate the Great Pyramid with the same level of stone-on-stone precision, even with our most advanced machinery. Whatever revolutionary techniques the Egyptians used, they were lost to the sands of time. From the deserts of Egypt, we climb high into the Andes Mountains of South America to find the enigmatic Tiwanaku civilization. Flourishing long before the famous Inca Empire, the Tiwanaku built a massive ceremonial center near Lake Titicaca at an altitude of over 12,000 feet, where oxygen is scarce and the climate is harsh. Just surviving at this altitude is difficult, let alone building a monumental city. Their stonework rivals that of the Egyptians in its precision and complexity. The stone blocks at sites like Pamapunku are cut with what can only be described as machine-like accuracy. They feature perfectly straight edges, 90-degree angles, and complex interlocking joints designed to withstand the region's powerful earthquakes. These are not simple stacked blocks. They are three-dimensional puzzles carved from andesite, an incredibly hard volcanic rock. Some of these stones show evidence of finely drilled holes and clean, narrow grooves that don't match any known ancient tools. Mainstream archaeology suggests they used stone and bronze tools, but many researchers question how such tools could create these features with such flawlessness. Around the year 1000 AD, the Tiwanaku civilization collapsed, likely due to climate change, and when they disappeared, their unparalleled high-altitude engineering knowledge vanished with them, leaving behind silent, perfectly cut stones as a testament to their lost genius. Finally, we arrive at a discovery that completely rewrote our understanding of human history: Göbekli Tepe. Located in modern-day Turkey, this site is over 11,000 years old. To put that in perspective, it's 6,000 years older than Stonehenge and 7,000 years older than the Great Pyramid. It predates the invention of pottery, writing, and even agriculture. According to the traditional timeline of history, people at this time were supposed to be simple hunter-gatherers, living in small, nomadic bands. They weren't supposed to be capable of organized, large-scale construction projects. Yet, Göbekli Tepe proves they were. The site consists of massive, T-shaped stone pillars, some weighing up to 20 tons, arranged in large circles. These pillars are decorated with intricate carvings of animals and complex symbolic artwork. The entire complex demonstrates a high degree of planning, precise alignment, and a shared cultural vision that required a large, coordinated workforce. This discovery single-handedly proved that organized religion and monumental construction came before settled agriculture, not the other way around. But the most mysterious part of Göbekli Tepe is its ending. Around 8000 BC, the entire site was intentionally and carefully buried. The very people who spent generations building it deliberately covered it with earth, preserving it for millennia. Why would they bury their greatest achievement? Was it a tomb for an idea? A way of putting a powerful technology to rest? We simply don't know. So, what do we make of all this? The Sumerians and their instant knowledge, the Indus valleys, perfect cities, the impossible stonework of the Egyptians in Tiwanaku, and the prehistoric architects of Göbekli Tepe. These civilizations weren't primitive. They were advanced, organized, and capable of technological and engineering feats that we are still trying to understand. Their stories force us to ask some uncomfortable questions. Was our history a straight line of progress? Or were there peaks of incredible achievement that were lost? These sites are a humbling reminder that we don't have all the answers. And the biggest question of all is this: how much more knowledge, how many more incredible technologies have we already lost to time? If you found this as fascinating as I do and want a follow-up video exploring even more ancient anomalies, comment more civilizations down below, and make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications, because believe me, this rabbit hole goes way, way deeper. Thanks for watching.